Hi everyone, today is Thursday, April, why did I forget? Oh, today is Thursday, April 15th, 2021. I hope you guys are all doing well. Happy Grey's Anatomy / Station 19 / Rebel Night. I'm very excited. I'm special. But yeah, I'm very excited. So that's happening tonight. So happy TGIT night. So let's just jump into the quote because I've got a long story to share with you guys. It's going to take a while. And why there was not a vlog yesterday. So today's quote, inspired by Grey's Anatomy, is... Oh, I can't even see that. I don't know if you can. Oh, there we go. Can you... I don't know. I can't even see that. Oh, there we go. He is not the sun. You are. He is not... I think it's because of the reflection from the phone to the... Yeah, he is not the sun. You are. Christina Yang said that to Meredith Grey. Our wonderful Grey's Anatomy characters about Derek Shepherd, who she wanted to stay with, and she did until he died. At this point, if you haven't seen his death, like, it's not a spoiler. It's been a while. It's been 6 years, 5 years. But yeah, so he's not the son you are. So that's kind of like an empowerment moment to any of you guys. So remember, ladies, he's not the son. You're the son. Period, sis. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna jump into this. So yesterday, ooh, notification. It's just, okay. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. Notifications. So yesterday, I got my first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. I got vaccinated. But there's a whole story that goes with it. Some good parts and some bad parts, right? So, okay, sorry. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to pause this again. It's my third time trying to film this vlog. Basically, so my Pfizer appointment was scheduled for 3:30 p.m. at the Forest Park location for Pfizer specifically. Being 17, I am only eligible for Pfizer, but to get vaccinated is to get vaccinated. So, yeah. So I received my first dose yesterday. So, because we had to be there 15 minutes prior, they said, we left the house about 2:45, got to the location at 3, which we're 30 minutes early. They let us in and stuff, and we go through this long, like, Disney-like line. You have to go through and get your temp checked and check the QR code and stuff like that. So we get to the front of the line, we do a health check, then we get to registration, vaccination registration, because it's my first time, right? Obviously, the second time I get vaccinated, I don't have to go through that. I just show them my card, and I'll do a health screening again, of course, and then they'll move me all the way up there for my booster. Well, it was something. I was trying to get my first dose yesterday, and we got through the registration for health registration and the actual vaccine registration, and setting up the second appointment and stuff like that. We do that, and then our so the color guard and the army and all the armed forces pretty much are there to help out. So they were there, and so our guy told us go ahead, right? So we go ahead, and as we're going up, they say, wait, go back to your assigned station. We're doing a count. A hard count, meaning that they're counting the vaccines that they have left and available. So we're like, oh, okay. So we listen, and we're like, it'll be a quick 5 minutes. We're just counting to make sure that they have enough for all these people who are waiting here and all these people who are up there. Well, you know, we're sitting there, and like 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, okay, it's no big deal. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes with no instruction whatsoever. Just sitting there. Us and all these people, and I'm seeing people physically get their vaccines, and I'm like, well, why aren't we moving? There's nobody in front of us, there's nobody behind us, because it was like the end of the day for theirs. Mine was the last appointment. They were done at 3:30, so we're just sitting there. I'm like, what? Okay. So my mom's over there, and she's like, well, don't worry, I'm sure they'll clear up and we'll get instructions. So our armed service guy, he's over there talking with his buddies, not paying attention to us, so he has no idea what's going on, nor do they. So I'm like, oh, if we had sat one seat over. And so I'm seeing all these people get their vaccines, and I'm like, okay, fine. So finally, at one point, a lady up in the front, a nurse up there, she's like, okay, you can come move up, but not like, come get the vaccine. I have to wait in line to get my vaccine. So I'm waiting in line, right? And then, yeah, we're waiting in line. for our turn, right? And then they're like, hold up, we gotta do another hard count. And I'm like, that's the second hard count you've done in 30 minutes. So now time has passed and we're now at 4:30. So by the time I actually got moved up, it's 4:30. So I've been there for an hour and a half now. And we're just sitting there. And they're doing another hard count. Now that hard count took longer. That took 20 minutes. So now it's 4:50. And people are clearing out. So the people that were behind us in line, like there's a group of people that had a 3:30 appointment. The group of us, people of us that were behind us in line, were in the observation area already. They were done. And I was like, how is that fair? So there was no system in place whatsoever. Like at all. No system whatsoever. So people, they weren't checking QR codes. They weren't checking anything. So you could have had an appointment at like 2:30, show up at 3, and they would have let you in. So they weren't checking that. The armed services people were not paying attention. The actual guy directing who's supposed to go to what booth for their vaccine with which nurse was not paying attention while they were trying to get its attention. And then they were running low on supplies on top of it because the guy was paying attention to get more vials. So I'm like, this is the worst location ever. Until it got worse. So now, all those people who were in observation while I was waiting are gone. They have left. And everybody's cleared out. Other people, right? And I'm like, wait. That lady, so the lady that was directly in front of us, had gotten hers, I watched, directly at 4. And she had an appointment at 3:30 with us. 30 minutes. I didn't get I physically did not get the vaccine in my left shoulder until 6:35 last night. And let me tell you why. Because now at this point, how I ended up being the last one there, and all these other ladies, it was all the same group of people. There was 6 of us left. 6. And now a vial for a vaccine, for the Pfizer specifically, they said, only has 5 in it. And the lady who was running this said she didn't want to waste 4 other ones. Well, you have one other person that's here, and that's not fair. So they were asking for volunteers, and I'm like, how the hell did sorry for language, but the 6 of us that were all literally in the same line together, me and my because of course my mom had to go with me. The 2 of us were the first ones of that group, and then behind us was the other lady to the left of me, and then the 2 daughters behind her, and then the two Mexican guys behind them. So that's 6 of us. 6 of us that were just all together with the very, very, very last one. So there was nobody behind us, right? And so we thought, I guess it just depended on where you went, right? And I guess depending on where you were assigned and where you went, you got your vaccine faster. So now they're like, would anybody like to be a hero and come back tomorrow? My mom literally had a ham bone moment, and she said, I'm not going to come back. My daughter, she cannot come back. She's in school during the day. Why can't you guys just open one more vial? There's literally one more additional person here. How is that fair to all of us who all had appointments at 3:30, and we all showed our things and said, yeah, we had appointments at 3:30, all of us. And so at this point now, it's 5:30, and we're sitting there fighting over vaccines. And so, it's like, well, Mom, we've been here for forever. And so I'm just like, Mom, it's not going to work out. Because you're yelling, now I'm going to be the one that doesn't get one. And she's like, well, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut either. I'm like, I understand. So my mom was really mad, and so was I, because I was on the verge of tears. I was like, we went through all that shit, all the registration, all of the paperwork, all of that long line for these people who showed up late and not checking codes and all of that stuff, for me to potentially be that 1 in 6 that doesn't get it and has to come back another day. Like, no, I would not. I would literally register elsewhere and get it elsewhere, because I would be so pissed at that point. And so basically that happened. And so finally one guy said, well, I'm not working tomorrow. And he was pointing at me, he goes, you're in school, so you can't leave. And the other 4 girls that were with me, 2 of them are teenagers and 2 of them are parents who are a nurse and a doctor. So we could not come back either. So he was like, well, I'm not working tomorrow, I'll come back. So he was generous enough to come back. And I was like, but still, I felt like that bad. And so then my mom she goes, are you going to guarantee he gets a vaccine tomorrow? And I'm like, Mom, shut up. We got it already. They're like, oh, yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm like, so then I'm like, Mom, shut up. She's like, we already got it. I'm gonna get one. Calm down. But yeah, I was like on the verge of tears yesterday. I was like, if I went through all of that and I don't get one because they can't count vials properly or because they don't want to waste one vial, which I know makes sense, right? But if we all had appointments and these people, they literally had a walk-in people got in first and they didn't have an assigned area like, oh, here's your thing right here. You start here. Let's go by last name or let's do this. Let's have a better system in place. You know, I wouldn't be had been in that position last night. And it was just really hard. And so I'm like, so then I asked the lady, I said, well, can you please guarantee him a vaccine? Because he, just like the rest of us, you know, just because we have school and work and jobs, right? He does too. And just because he's off, he volunteered to be nice out of it. But to be fair with you, he didn't want to give up his vaccine either because we're all are working hard. And we all want to be back to normalcy. And you guys don't know how to run this. Now at this point, they had been open, this vaccination place has been open for 2 months. So 8 weeks as of yesterday. They were open for 8 weeks and they still had no shit together. And so I'm like, this is great. You know, I'm going to get my vaccine. But it just took forever and I was like freaking out. I literally cried and the lady next to me was crying and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. I'm just so happy I'm getting it because I didn't want to go through all that. So now you see as like they're clearing out, all the nurses and volunteers and these people are literally leaving. The doctors and nurses administering it, they're like, because they clock out at 5:30, because that's when they're supposed to be done giving, the appointments end at 3:30, but vaccinations by the time you do it are supposed to be done at 5:30. So they're all literally 5:30 is over and they're all leaving. And so I'm like, great, so we're getting the vaccines, but who's going to administer them? Because they can't administer them. They're just literally people. They're not doctors or nurses who know how to insert them. Oh, thank God for Benji. So Benji was my nurse who did it. He said, I would be more than happy to stay a few extra minutes. It's not that big a deal. I've been here all day. So he did all 5 of our vaccines. So he was very nice about it. And so then the 5 of us were like, oh, thank God. So we all waited for each other. Like, my mom's like, well, we've been through this much. And I was like, yeah. So they let me go first because I was the youngest one. The girls, that were also teenagers were both also 18 or whatever, but they were letting me go first, so I got to go because it's 17 or whatever. So I went, and then the teenage girls went, and then their mom went, and then the lady who's had to have been in like her mid-20s, 30s or whatever went. So we all got ours, and we all hung out in distance in the while we waited. But yeah, we were being the very, very last ones. You could see them all clearing their desks and clearing stuff and people walking out and security guards walking out and nurses and staff and all that. And so, you know, it's like, great, we got it, but now, you know, who administers it? And I'm so glad for Benji. So Benji does not watch these because Benji just remembers my name because of an ID card. But Benji the nurse, thank you so much. Thank you for staying and administering vaccines for the remaining 5 of us. I know you wanted to go home. You wanted to go home and watch The Bachelor, like you said. But thank you. So yeah, that entire experience. But yeah, so I never got to finish that. So basically, yeah, 5:30 was when that happened, and then we didn't actually, like, the needle physically was not in my arm until 6:30. So they had to do another recount and find more vials. I was like, so you told us there's 5 in a vial. You're not going to open another one, but you can't find one. So that was like another hour where we were all pissed. They finally found a vial, and my mom wrote the nastiest review on Facebook. She's like, don't come here. Grace waited forever. Grace almost didn't get one. Don't come here. She's the nastiest review ever. And so I was like, yeah. So then I went onto my Facebook and I said, look, and my Snap and all that, and I said, look, I'm too enraged to do a vlog tonight. Like, I really was too enraged. I didn't want the vlog to be angry at you guys because it was not your fault, of course, right? So I just decided not to do the vlog for the sake of not getting everyone in America upset. So I didn't do that. But yeah, so I physically got it at 6:30 p.m. So after 3 hours later after my appointment. And, you know, and then at that point, the only people that were left, like all security guards, Benji left because he was the only nurse left. Every single person that was there who was helping with that was like gone. It was dead. It was literally the 5 of us and my mom. The 5 of us and my mom just sitting in the observation thing. And the lights were, they were starting to turn off lights and everything, and they were walking out, didn't even realize we were still sitting there. And so all of us were like, hey. And they're like, well, why are you still there? And we're like, because you guys couldn't decide on who got what. And you had to fight over it, and you couldn't open one more vial. My mom and this other lady blabs out. I'm like, Mom. And I literally went and I'm like, shut up. And I'm like, you're literally going to get us kicked out of here. She's like, it doesn't matter. You already got it. I was like, Mom. So it was the first time I've seen my mom in a long while where she was just like taking it. She did not take, she gave no shits. And so I'm very proud of her for that. But yeah, so if you are looking to get your first dose of Pfizer and you're a teenager, do not, I repeat, do not go to the Forest Park location. They do not know how to run things. They don't check your QR codes. They don't look at anything. And so you might end up in a position where you have an appointment at the end of the day and you're going to get a vaccine, or you might not, and you might have to volunteer to come back, which is also dumb. So if that's the only option you have, then try and go for the earlier times. But by like before 3 would be probably the best, before 3 if you can, because by 3:30 they were doing hard counts constantly. So yeah, no, the worst vaccine experience ever. Like, my parents did theirs. My dad did both of his vaccines with Triton for Pfizer, and he was done within, like, he did his first one, he was in and out within an hour. Same thing for the second one. My mom got her Moderna, the Moderna vaccine, in Tinley Park, and I'm not eligible for the Moderna, unfortunately, because, yeah, I'm not eligible for it. One sec. I'm not eligible for Moderna, so, because I'm not 18, I'm sorry, 19 or whatever it is, 18, 19, so, yeah. So I had to do with what do, but yeah, I love it. Both of my parents got theirs and stuff, and my grandparents got theirs at West Leiden, because their amazing neighbors, Kim is awesome, Mrs. Farkas, so yeah, everyone had a good experience but myself, and so, my second dose I'm going to get at, Triton, because I was able to switch it. Thank God I was, because otherwise I would have been a pain. And yeah, so we're switching over to Triton for my second dose on May 5th, and hopefully that runs a lot smoother. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Most of this was about my vaccine horror story, but yeah, do not go to Forest Park. Do not go to Forest Park if you are getting a Pfizer vaccine and you're 16 through 18. So yeah, oh, and also I took footage and stuff, but like, YouTube is not being nice, and YouTube said I can't use it unless I license it, which I did license it. I said, yeah, I've licensed it, and I've given props to the location and the nurses and stuff that were featured in it, and I blurred their faces and everything, right? But they still said I can't use it, so. But I did get footage, so maybe I'll get to use it at some point. Alright, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Happy TGIT night, and I'll see you tomorrow for Friday's vlog. Bye!